Pride in craftsmanship is a rarity in commerce these days. Assembly line production has taken over almost everything from shoes to wigs. But at Ryon's Saddle Shop on North Main Street in Fort Worth, a saddle maker makes each saddle from start to finish, including the fancy stamping. The rarity of such craftsmanship sometimes makes it pay off better than it once did. Orders come in from all over the world for these saddles. Whistle Ryon, son of founder Wendy Ryon, said they make 10 or 12 saddles a week, and prices start at around $450. And they have so many orders already that if you put yours in today, it would take 4 or 5 months for them to get to it. Not long ago, an order for 2 saddles came in from the Smithsonian Institute in Washington. These saddles are now finished and will be presented soon to the King and Queen of Bhutan. When Wendy Ryon started in this part of Cowtown, it was Mecca for cattlemen from all over Texas and the surrounding states. Now, he says rather tersely, we're mostly in the recreation business. Mr. Ryon, what was it like in this part of town when you first started out in business here?
Well, you mean like business-wise or customer-wise?
Well, sort of this area in general in North Main.
Quite Cowtown we started in. It was one of the main terminal stockyards of the United States, and we attracted customers all over the Southwest, and they'd come in with their cattle or livestock in the evening and generally spend the night, and then the next morning they'd be seeing about their cattle and then doing their shopping.
Is a cowboy particular about his hat?
Well, their hats and boots are two of the main things that they're particular about. They might just wear Levi's in between or most anything, but they sure want good boots and good hats.
Well, what particular things do they watch out for that you, as a hat merchant, watch for?
You take a cowboy, a rancher, they want a real good, fine-feeling, light hat.
Is Fort Worth still a center for ranching cattle people?
It's still a trade center for them. They don't ship as many cattle here as they used to, but they still come here to buy their clothing, saddles, boots, tack, and so forth.
You've dealt with, done business with cowboys and ranchers all your life, then?
Yes, sir.
If a visitor from Mars came in here and asked you to tell him the characteristics of a cowboy, could you do it?
Well, you got to know which area you're talking about.
Oh,
but yes, they're very individual people.
What about a West Texas cowboy? How would you describe it?
Well, as I just said, they're very individual. They're very demanding in what that they want, and they won't take any type of substitute for it. I mean that they'll come for one particular item or a dozen items, but whatever that they're going to buy, they have definitely ideas about what they want.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they're individual people, and I can't tell you exactly.
It occurs to me that maybe at some time they have to depend on things.
Well, it could be.
Mr. Ryon, I understand that you can tell where a cowboy's from by the way his hat's creased. How is that?
Well, after you've shaped as many of them as I have and looked as many of them, you just kind of get the style of a hat with a part of the country the gentleman's from. And this makes it, you can hit it 95% of the time where he's from, that this time of high crowns and wild creases that they started in the last few years, you won't be as right as you used to be. By the way, I've got to go, and it's my son Whistle, and he can take over from there. Thank you.
All right, bye. Whistle?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was asking about identifying a part of a country a guy's from crowns and the way his hat's creased. You have an example?
I've got a hat, and this is a felt hat, Jay, but this is a hat with what we call a cattleman crease in it. It has the break in the front, break in the back. Some people call it a Fort Worth crease, but sell a lot of this hat out in West Texas. Sell an awful lot of it, and this is a 3.5-inch brim, also making a smaller brim and a 3-inch brim.
Whistle, you were going to give me an example here of the two of hats from different parts of the country.
Well,
Okay.
what I was going to show you first, Jay, was there's a crease that used to be quite popular that we don't do anymore. Or I say we don't do it, we don't have too many requests for it. I'm going to put it in this hat. You know, creases and hats too run in their fashion. The style's changed. 5 or 6 years ago, you couldn't give away a high crown hat, and nowadays that's mostly what you sell. Up to about this year, the smaller brims have been very popular. A real short brim, like this hat here is a small brim hat, 3-inch brim. But now everybody has been going back to larger brims, to 4-inch brims.
You know why?
Yes, I think it's just because people get tired of looking at the same thing. We'll go through a good 4-inch brim period here for probably two to 3 years, and then it'll start getting smaller again. It's kind of a cycling effect.
Now these style changes you're talking about, are those, do the cowboys or the ranchers change styles too?
Well, now you have some old ranchers. We have some people been doing business with us for 25 years that wear one kind of hat, have always wore that kind of hat, and will wear that hat when they put them in the grave. I mean, but the younger people are the ones that move the basic style influences. Now, our rodeo cowboys have quite a bit to do with it. People like Larry Mahan, Billy Minnick, who's a good-sized stock producer here in Fort Worth. That those type of people have a great influence on what the other people wear. Now, this crease that I've just put in here, you can see that, and we don't, like I say, I may crease 1 out of 200 nowadays. Used to, this is a very popular crease. It was called a Denton pinch in this country, or called a rodeo pinch.
What part of the country is that?
I'm selling this all over again, but more to a younger trade. This has got your high crown. This is what we call a whistle special. We designed this hat up. We've had this hat out for about 5 years. This crease, and this is where it's higher in the front, slopes to the back, and has the bumps on each side.
Do you have a drugstore cowboy crease?
No, we can crease those any way you want them.